A 22-year-old just put his name above Tim Duncan, above Shaquille O'Neal, above Hakeem Olajuwon, three of the most dominant big men who ever lived, and Victor Wembanyama is now younger than all of them were when they did the exact thing he just did in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. His team is losing, he's making history anyway. Let me show you the record he just broke. Set the table. In Game 2, Wembenyama went for 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Score the ball at an elite level and erase shots at the rim at an elite level in the same finals game. That combination is rare for anyone. At his age, it's never happened before. Not once. This is Game is Culture. Real quick before we dig in, if you like breakdowns that actually show the math instead of just yelling takes at you, go hit subscribe. It's free and it genuinely helps, so click it. Start with the line that made the history. 29, 9, and 4 blocks. The scoring carried San Antonio's offense, the rebounding held the glass, and the 4 blocks turned the paint into a no-fly zone. This is the two-way profile every team dreams about, and he produced it in his second career finals game at 22 years old. And those 4 blocks weren't garbage time stat padding. He swatted Jalen Brunson at the rim. He erased Josh Hart on a point-blank layup. Every time New York thought they had an easy 2, a 7'4" arm appeared out of nowhere. That's the part that doesn't fully show up in the box score. The layups the Knicks simply didn't attempt because they knew he was lurking. Now the record and the company it puts him in. 22 years and 152 days old. That is now the youngest anyone has ever posted 25 points and 4 blocks in an NBA Finals game. Older than him on that list, every dominant young big in the history of the sport. He's at the top of the list, and he's 22. Look at the club. Hakeem Olajuwon in 1986, Shaquille O'Neal in 1995, Tim Duncan in 1999, Dennis Johnson before any of them. The greatest defensive big men the league has ever produced, all of whom hit this two-way milestone, all of whom were older than Wembenyama is right now. He didn't crack the list, he's at the front of it. Understand what those names mean. Hakeem and Duncan are top-tier all-time bigs and multi-time champions. Shaq is one of the most physically dominant players who ever breathed. Every single one of them is a Hall of Famer. To reach this milestone younger than all of them isn't a fun stat. It's a flashing sign that says generational. And appreciate how hard this is to do at all, at any age. Scoring 25 and blocking 4 in the same finals game requires you to dominate both ends simultaneously, the rarest thing a big man can do. The full list across the entire modern era is short, maybe 24 games ever. Wembenyama didn't just join it young, he joined a club most superstars never get into at all. Quick interruption, because the next part is genuinely spooky. Hit subscribe if you're enjoying this. I'm not going to beg, but I am going to ask, so hit it, and I'll wait. And here's the part that gave me chills, the 1999 echo. The next youngest player to ever do this was Tim Duncan in the 1999 NBA Finals. And who was Duncan doing it against? The New York Knicks, the same franchise Wembenyama just did it against 27 years later. A San Antonio 7-footer erasing New York at the rim in the finals as a barely legal phenom. It has happened exactly twice, and it's the same 2 teams. Put the 2 nights side by side. Duncan, 1999, 25 points, 4 blocks, 15 rebounds, 23 years old. Wembenyama, 2026, 29 points, 4 blocks, 9 rebounds, 22 years old. Duncan got more boards. Wembenyama scored more and did it younger. Same milestone, same opponent, a generation apart. And here's why that comparison should terrify the rest of the league. Duncan won the title that year and the finals MVP at 23. He went on to 5 championships and a top-tier all-time resume. Wembenyama is hitting the same marks a full year younger. The blueprint for a San Antonio dynasty has done this exact thing before. It ended in banners. And it fits a pattern San Antonio has run before. David Robinson, then Tim Duncan, now Wembenyama. this franchise has rebuilt itself around a generational 7-footer 3 separate times, and the first 2 turned it into 5 championships. The Spurs don't just develop big men, they build dynasties on them. Wembenyama is chapter 3, and he's ahead of Duncan's schedule. Now the catch, because there's a big one. Duncan's 25-4 came in a series San Antonio won. Wembenyama's came in a loss. The Spurs are down 2-0, and historic individual nights don't show up in the championship column. So the record is real, the company is absurd, and the scoreboard still says his team is in trouble. Greatness and winning are not the same thing, and tonight they split. But don't lose the defense in the result, because it's the engine of the whole thing. 4 blocks in Game 2, and he's leading the entire playoffs in blocks per game. The scoring gets the headlines. The rim protection is what puts him on a list with Hakeem and Duncan in the first place. So, zoom out. Whatever happens in this series, a 22-year-old just authored a finals performance that belongs next to the greatest big men in basketball history, against the same franchise that watched Tim Duncan do it before a single one of his 5 rings. The record book already knows what we're all starting to realize. This is the start of something enormous. And the scary part for the other 29 teams is the timeline. Duncan was 23 when he did this, and he kept doing it for 15 more years. Wembenyama is 22, with a higher scoring ceiling and a longer wingspan than anyone who's ever played. If the youngest version of him is already authoring nights like this, the rest of the league has to live in fear of the version that hasn't even arrived yet. So here's the whole thing in one line. Youngest player in NBA history with 25 points and 4 blocks in a finals game. Ahead of Duncan, ahead of Shaq, ahead of Hakeem, at 22 in a losing effort against the Knicks, just like the Spurs legend before him. Remember where you were watching. So I'll leave it with you. Is Victor Wembanyama already on the Duncan and Hakeem tier of young finals bigs, or is the fact that his team is losing the only thing that matters? I think the record book has seen enough. Tell me where you stand down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe. We're in a race to 1,000 subscribers, so please join the family.